with a round of applause. Join me as we welcome God's choice servant, my father, Apostle Michael OROKPO.
I'm about to show you why we are not the same. And I'm about to show you why you are probably earthy and a citizen of the earth. Because when you start probing these truths, if you are honest to yourself, you will know why you are where you are. Because these things, they are eternal, they don't lie. The Bible began to speak in Isaiah 40 from verse 28. Hear what he says. Because he had to expound and define these realities from the natural dimension of man, so that you will know that this is a progression. He said, hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God fainted not? Now, he's beginning with God because he's showing you where he's trying to channel your propensities to. Because as you ascend, you are coming into the God class and the God order. So he had to begin from there. That ideally, the natural man has no basis by which he can be put side by side with God. There's nothing about him that resembles God. There's nothing about him that can carry out feats, dimensions, and possibilities that are divine. But you see, at the end of this chapter, it reveals to you that there is something that can happen to that man, and he will begin to operate at the frequency of God. And so your advantage is not your natural abilities. But see the problem we have. We are developing our natural abilities and propensities, and we ignore our spiritual propensities. Somebody goes to the university for 15 years to come out with paper so that he can have a job. Why? Because the people who were trained by darkness came and designed the systems of this world. They designed it such that resources will only travel in the direction of the credentials that they place, not the credentials God placed. So you will have to, of necessity, train yourself to have those credentials in order to have access to those resources. Because the way they designed it is such that if you don't have that credential, you can't have that resource. So the reason you have to go to a university, apart from the fact that it develops your mind, which is good to a very large extent, the whole goal is so that you can play a part in the class order and the chain of value that they create. Because they know that everyone will want to have access to those resources. And so for 20 years, from primary school to secondary school to university, and we come back celebrating a certificate, not because we love the certificate, but the certificate gives us a sense of relevance in society, because that's the value society places on it. And the certificate becomes our key to get a job, or to getting a job that will cause resources to flow in our direction. So for the 20 to 25 years, we have to follow that route in order to be societally relevant. You see the intelligence that is shaping civilization. Now, there's nothing wrong in going to school. I've gone to school. That's not the point I'm making. But I'm telling you that there is another system trying to kick you out of God's order. There's another system trying to push you out of the divine system. So while you are developing yourself in that system, because beyond having a job, you are a messenger to that system. That's where superior value comes in. The reason you are training your mind is because you will talk to men and bring another kingdom to them. So for you, it's not about salary. For you, it's not about job. It's about having the legality to address that system. Because if I can't speak English, I can't talk to them. If I don't have understanding, I can't talk to them. In the realm of the spirit, I don't need English to commune. In the realm of the spirit, I don't need English to gain rank. In the realm of the spirit, I don't need English to have stature. But in the realm of man, I must speak English. So I go to that school, not because they are my supplier. Because God is my supplier. My supplier is Ebenezer. But I will still go to that school because I need to be part of the system in order to address the system. So I'm not going to that school for salary. I'm going to that school because I'm a messenger to the earth realm. But see where we have missed it. We spend time developing our human side and we have no stake in Zion. So somebody has gone to school for 25 years. He has a certificate. He has a job, which is good. But you ask him, what is happening in the spirit? He's oblivious. Because he has not been taught how to wait. Meanwhile, his wings cannot come out in the university. The university is not built with the technology to teach him how to ascend. The university is not built with the technology to activate his God elements. And so the Bible is giving us another syllabus. A lecture here that is superior to biology. A lecture here that is superior to philosophy. A lecture here that is superior to psychology. He said, have thou not heard? Hast thou not been told that the everlasting God fainted not, neither is he weary? He said, but his understanding is past finding out. Go to the next verse. Help me, help me, help me. If I start quoting, I will enter inspiration. I can't follow my thought. He said, but he giveth power to the faint. The university can't give this kind of power. He giveth power to the faint. Unto them that have no might, he increases strength. And he's now telling you, just in case you think philosophy can give you a stake here, let me advise you. He said, even the youth shall faint, and the young men shall utterly fall. There is something about your ordination in Zion that no other institution is fortified to address. It said, but they that wait upon the Lord. There is a new kind of lecturer that shows up. They that wait upon the Lord. He said, he doesn't teach them biology. He said, he renews their strength. They mount up with wings like the eagle. And he began a comparison. Hear this. Hear the comparison. Hear the comparison. Before he got there, he told them something. See what he told them in verse 29. Oh, Jesus. Time. Give me verse 29. Let me show you something. Go to verse 30. This man need a baptism. Now, before he got to verse 31, he told us about God. He said, God does not faint. He said, God does not get weary. And he now came to tell us that men, even if they are young, and the reason he used young men is because the best among men are the young ones. The strength of a man, the peak of a man's ability is in his youth. He now said, even the youth shall faint. That means the best of men will faint. And he said they will utterly fall. He now said, when we wait upon the Lord, he says something happened. A metamorphosis begins to take place. And he says, suddenly, whether you are young or old, it doesn't matter. Whether you are male or female, it doesn't matter. He said, when you wait upon the Lord, suddenly you run. You are no longer weary. You walk. You no longer faint. What is he telling you? The realm where God operates, you start operating at that realm. This one, chemistry cannot give it. This one, anatomy cannot give it. This one, physiology cannot give it. Does this discourage you from schooling? No. School, because when you receive from Zion, you need to go to that school. You will need to go to that society. But your original credential and power is the height you have ascended to. And so when you want to find the value of men, check how fast they get weary. Check how fast they faint. Because a man who is ascended, the sign is that there's strength in his spirit. That's why when men are cast down, he looks at you and he said there's a lifting up. That's why when men are sick, he said no one shall say in Zion, I am sick. That's why when nothing is working on the earth, he said give a portion to 7, give a portion to 8. You know not the evil that comes upon the earth. He said, as thou knowest not how the bones are formed in the womb of her that is with child. That is how you do not know the ways of the Lord. So that man become a supernatural entity on the earth realm. But the key is they that wait. They that wait. You waited in the university, in the secondary school, and the primary school for 30 years to be called a PhD holder. How long have you waited in the spirit? There's nothing wrong in waiting in the university. Those certificates gave you access to the corridors where you are operating today. But you will be like every other person in that corridor. What will distinguish you in that corridor is the edge you bring from heaven that they don't have. And so while you are here training your mind in school, also train your spirit in the school of the spirit. Because the first school is not Harvard. The first school is not Oxford. The first school is Eden, where the voice of the Lord came in the cool of the day, and the man was intermingling with that voice and was becoming like God. They that wait. Are you seeing why we are earthy, even though we should be heavenly? Are you seeing why we are mortals, even though we should function like immortals? Paul was teaching in 1 Corinthians chapter 3 from verse 1 to 3. He looked at them. He said, look at you. Are you not carnal? He said, are you not babe? He said, I could not speak to you like spiritual men because you are babes in Christ. He went to verse 2. He said, if there are arguments, if there are backbitings, if there are contentions among you, he said, are you not children? Are you not babies? And then he went to verse 3. He said, are you not behaving like ordinary men? What is Paul talking about? Paul is telling us that we are not supposed to walk as men. See what he said in verse 3. He said, you are carnal. He said, there is envy, strife, division among you. He said, you are walking like men. What is Paul saying? That means we are not supposed to walk like men. We are supposed to walk like supernatural beings. That's why Paul called us new creations. Because there is no name to call us. If he calls us any name that makes us a man, he has demoted us. We function in the class of the immortals. That's why when you close your eyes to pray, the Holy Ghost shows up. When you are praying, angels show up. Because your community is no longer men. He said you have come to Mount Zion, the city of the living God, to an innumerable company of angels, to the spirit of just men made perfect. Both those who are gone and those who are alive are the same. Walk as men. And we are so men that the world group us with them. So when you talk, they think you are man. And then you want to use theology to argue. No, what they are looking for is not theology. If you say you are not man, show us what you carry that makes you not a man. But we are not ascended. We are not ascended. When you learn biology, that's good. But learn waiting. Because while biology will give you a certificate, waiting will take you to a realm. And the realm where waiting takes you to, you come out like the God that you encounter. And when you come out like that, you no longer go to a class to teach biology. You no longer go to a lab to do few experiments. You manifest the invincible God to a generation. And so the answers that biology cannot give them, your life becomes that answer. That's how God designed us. He didn't take us out of the world. We were participating in the world because we are the answer to the world. Jesus was praying. He said, I have not taken them out of the world. He said, I have left them here because there is an assignment we have to the world. But if all we have is what the world have, then we don't know why we are here. They that wait upon the Lord, they mount up with wings. Where are your wings? I've seen your certificate. I've heard your English, but where are your wings? Your wings are the things that makes you different. Your wings are your advantage. Where are your wings? The world is singing, you are singing. Where are your wings? They are speaking, you are speaking. Where are your wings? They are there. But until you wait, you can't mount up. It's when you wait, you mount up. What does waiting entail? 3 things. Number 1, patience. That's where we talk about stamina. 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 There is no man of authority that does not have stamina in the presence. Go and check. That's where we find consolation. That's where we find solace. Our gravity is our stamina in God's presence. You don't know why everything the devil is doing. This is called the Gen Z generation, where everything is at a speed of light. Even food is fast food. Transport medium, fast. Everything fast. And you think God is also fast. No, he's an immortal king. When you come, you will stay there. The presence is not commanded. It descends like dew. And if you can't wait, it can't rest on you. And so anybody who wants to be transfigured, anybody who wants to mount up, must develop the capacity to wait. If you cannot sit there, if you cannot stay there, metamorphosis can't take place. Ascensions can't take place. Transfiguration cannot take place. I read about Moses and I almost went mad. The Bible said he climbed Sinai. You know how tall Mount Sinai is? It's over 7,000 feet tall. An 80-year-old man was looking for the spirit that dwells upon the mountains. And he climbed it with sandals, without gloves for mountains. When he arrived there, he was supposed to have a lot of blisters, but the king had not appeared. And on that mountain, he waited and fasted for 40 days and for 40 nights. And suddenly, while he was yet fasting, he saw a finger came out of the spirit realm. And the Bible said the finger came as a flame of fire. And he was writing the laws upon the tablets of the stones. Nobody knew that it was possible to sculpt into a stone. But the spirit that created stone knew that information could be transmitted into dead tablets. And suddenly a finger of fire came out and began to write laws that are immortal. It is the laws of Moses that is the foundation of human civilization. There's no nation on earth that has value system that didn't draw them from the laws of Moses. Even though they were studying things brought by demons, there was a superior knowledge that came from that mountain. Because one aged man decided to wait on that mountain for 40 days. When he came out, he didn't come as the Moses that went up. The Bible said Israel began to look for veils to cover his face. Even Moses did not know that something had happened. Because when you wait, the propensity of the divine is awoken on your inside. He said he wished not that his face shone. And Moses was glowing like an immortal among men. It was from that day that Moses was called an immortal being. Even God himself called him a God. But you see, theologians can't explain these things. They look at you and they say they are allegorical statements because they don't know where we came from. They don't know our destinies. They don't know why God left us here. God left us here to beam his reality to the earth realm. God left us here to show himself to a dying world, so that when they look upon us, they will touch God that they have heard about. John said that which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have looked upon, and our hands have handled of the word of life. He said that's the fellowship we brought you. For us, fellowship is not a religious gathering. Fellowship is a place where God is beamed out of a man. And so when you show up, you touch the tangible dimension of the intangible God. But how can you do that if you have not ascended the mountains of God? When you climb that mountain, you will discover there's nothing like age there. His realms eternal. That was where Moses entered, and he entered into the foundation of time. And he wrote things that existed before man was created. Who is talking age there? No wonder at 120, his strength was not depleted. At 120, his eyesight was intact because he has gone to where life itself dwells. And when he came out, he came with measures of it. We don't have stamina. Somebody carries it, he wants to pray, and his phone is by his side. Father, I thank you for today. And he's going to check a chat. You don't know your calling. If you will function as a prince of heaven, many hours, many days, you will stay there, and the journey is even beyond time. So it's not even something you calculate with time. When you are a baby, you can time yourself. But when you mature, you wait for light. If it takes 7 days, you will be there. You must touch something that is heavenly. And the more you build that stamina, the more your authority grows. Because when light comes, light is transmitted in packets. It's quanta. It appears as a continuous flow, but they are packets. And so sometimes you will stay there for weeks and for months for enough voltage to come on you. It's not something you can regulate with time. You regulate it with appetites. Appetites. Deep appetites that you will never be satisfied. Draw me and I will come after you. That was what the philosopher said. He said, draw us. Draw us. You are there, but you say, draw us. Draw us. We will come after you. Draw us. We want you to pull us closer. He said, we have found something that appetizes us more than the wine. He said, even the ointment of thy good pleasure, thy name, is poured forth as ointment. He said, because of that, the virgins love you. The virgins are those who are separated unto God. God is their obsession. They have stamina. When they go into God's presence, that's where they come alive. The first definition of waiting is patience in God's presence. Is stamina in God's presence. If you don't have that stamina, you can't mount up. This is beyond the conference. This conference is for 2 days. The whole day of the conference is not even enough to mount up. It is when you leave this conference that you go and engage the altar in order to mount up. You can't mount up here. We have 48 hours for the whole conference. What is 48 hours? Do you know how far light is? Not because of geometrical space or geological or geographical space, but because it takes a lot for that spirit that is locked in your soul to come out. Before it comes out of your spirit, it takes time. Because the spirit is sealed on your inside to avoid corruption. You must stay there until the canopy of the presence encompasses you. If there's no corruption in the atmosphere, that's when the spirit can be patient, can be assured, and come out to interact with the one that is his delight. Because what your spirit longs for is the intercourse that existed before you were born. Because before he formed you in your mother's womb, he knew you. You were one with him in eternity past. And while you yet walk through time, the goal of waiting is so that that intercourse can take place. You will tarry there until your spirit comes alive. Then your spirit will ascend like a mist into the heavens of God, to the sanctuaries of heaven, where intimacy takes place. We are weak because we cannot wait. The second thing waiting entails is surrender and submission. When you find men who are ascended, they are broken. In 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5 to 6, he says, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. He said, in due time, he will exhort you. So the way God lifts men up, the way God provokes a mountain up in the spirit of men, is when they decide to humble themselves. And so a man who waits before God is a man who understands God's authority, and he decides to stay there. Because if you understand how waiting works, you can be in the market and be waiting. Because this thing has to be a part of your life. A time will come when you must take it away from your bedroom. A time will come when it must become what you do every day. And so you can wait in the plane. You can wait in the market. You can wait in the office because you are sensitive. Sometimes, while you are yet in the office, the word of the Lord comes to you and say, empty your account. Sow it as a seed to the orphanage. Yes, Lord, you have waited. Sometimes you are there in the office. You are talking. People are talking. Say, keep quiet. Don't participate in this conversation. Yes, Lord, you have waited. They ask you a question, you smile. You would have loved to talk. In fact, they will be offended that you didn't talk. But there's another master. There's another governor. There's another ruler that is superintending over your soul. And so at this point, your will no longer counts. You submit to his will. Many things you want to do, he will restrain you. Because you need to be light to ascend. And most of the garbage that the world throws on your soul, you don't have the time to carry them. And so when God wants to help you to float in the spirit, what he will do is that he will keep a law over your soul. That law can happen anywhere. It can happen even when you are alone in your house, when you are in the market, or when you are with your boss. And so many things that you should have loved to do, he restrains you so that he can take you higher. And so it begins from patience and stamina in the presence. Then it translates to submission under the government of God. The mighty hand that lifts men up. Our world is a world full of people's tendencies, people's opinions. Everything that happens, everybody is saying his mind. Who told you you have a mind to say? The Bible says we have the mind of Christ. We have no opinion on any matter. It's God's position that is our position. You come to a world where men are proud, arrogant, and full of themselves. People are jumping about like peacocks, saying things, even hallowed things that they know nothing about. They are talking about them. And then you think you can find God in our midst. We don't know the laws of the presence. We don't know the powers that regulate the activities in the realms of God. Because we live for ourselves and we do what we think is right. We don't check with the monarch to find out what his government dictates per time. Even the ones that are defined by the ordinances of God, we break them. People stand up and say, no, I'm no longer interested in this marriage. I don't love him anymore. Really? Who told you God came into the equation because of your emotion? When you went to the altar, you were bound by covenant. If you have emotions, that's good for you. Develop it. But the spirit that came on the basis of covenant. I don't like him anymore. We are not connecting. Connect what? Why did you go to the altar? Even the ordinances of God, we violate them because we don't know the protocols. And that's why we are heavy on earth. Heavy. And the devil is marching on people, oppressing them. And you can't find the princes of our era. Men that will cry, and angels will go to war. Jesus said, if I call on my Father now, 12 legions, 12. That means when men cry, angels go to war. If they have authority in the heavens. And the third thing waiting entails is focus. Focus and sensitivity. The ability to pick signals. Signals. Because those signals are the flights of the spirit realm. They are the flights. If you miss it, you have missed your flight. You know, those of you who travel by air regularly, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you come to the airport 3 minutes away from the time and they say the plane is airborne. This airborne, you have seen the plane parked, but the doors are locked. It's airborne. You can't be on that flight. It's gone. The plane is still there, but it's gone. Because you missed the signal. You missed it. And that's when you will know that every 1 minute does not have the same value. There is a 1 minute that will cost you money, cost you a whole day, and even cost you a whole opportunity. Because not every 1 minute is the same. There is a 1 minute that the opportunity of your lifetime is invested in. If you miss that 1 minute, you will need another lifetime to succeed. There is a 1 minute that your promotion is invested in. If you miss it, that promotion is gone. You will wait for another cycle. That's how the realm works. And so men who are sent are men who are sensitive to the flights of the spirit. And this is why I love Ezekiel. He said, the Spirit of the Lord took me by the lock of my hair. The man knew how to fly in the spirit. Many times, God will carry him to places and he will sit there as a watcher. And so any man who wants to operate in the ascended realm must master how to pick signals. And the key to picking signals is the ability to shut down distraction in your soul. There are certain things you must do to reduce the noise in your soul. And there are certain things you must do to amplify your sensitivity. If waiting is your goal, you will pay the price to keep your spirit aligned. Some of us were great football fans, mighty football analysts, but the noise became too much in the soul. The noise. We will watch one match and argue for 3 days. And then we are arguing the league for 6 months. But you see, there was a clock of destiny ticking. And so I had to forgo Arsenal and focus on my spirit man. Focus. That's why Paul was speaking. He said, if you say you are dead with Christ, let your affection be on the things above. You are like a watcher. You are watching, waiting for when the waters will be troubled. That's what Apostle F was talking about. Somebody was there for 38 years because he couldn't take advantage of moments. And even when Jesus, the Lord of the waters himself came, he was still talking stories. Would thou be made whole? He went and started narrating 38 years story. And if mercy did not prevail, he would have remained there for another 38 years. Because he doesn't know moments. Will thou be made whole? Yes, Lord. It is over. Whereas there is somebody else who understood the technology called blind Bartimaeus. Jesus was not even coming for him, but he heard. He heard that he was passing. Who is that person you say is passing? He says, Jesus, son of David, Is he the one I heard open blind eyes? They said he's the one. But sorry, he's not coming for miracle service. I don't care if there's a miracle service. If he did it before, he can do it again. I don't care if there is a signs and wonder service. Son of David, have mercy. And they say, shut up. Shut what? You have not been blind before, so you don't know what you are talking about. I've been blind until my name is called Blind Bartimaeus. I will not shut up. When he turns to the left, they say shut up. He turns to the right. When he turns to the right, they say shut up. He moves forward. Thou son of David, have mercy. Thou son of David, have mercy. Even though Jesus did not come for him, he stopped him.
Congratulations, viewers. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. I know this video has greatly blessed you and brought you into a deeper level of light and illumination. As the Bible speaking, it says, the entrance of the world giveth light and understanding to the simple. And the one thing this video has done today is it has brought you into a deeper level of light. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Remember, the Bible says, do the work of an evangelist in season and out of season. And one way that you can do that work of an evangelist is by sharing this video to everybody around you, your friends, your relatives, your well-wishers, even your perceived enemy, because I know you don't have an enemy. Thank you, and God bless you.